My loyal subjects, I have oft said these past weeks and months that with the coming of great age, one does oft reflect upon those events of the past. And with such a long life, such an eventful life, there is scarce a day, scarce a week, certainly not a month, where I have cause to reflect upon the events of the past. And so now, we do come to October, a month which for me was the very best of times, but indeed did similarly prove to be the worst of times. To be the king and to wear of the crown is indeed infinitely more pleasurable to those who do look on than to he who does wear it. For with majesty there does come responsibility. What is the duty of a king? To provide for the succession. It is the duty of a king to provide for an heir. All my reign, all of my reign, I had prayed and prayed and prayed to the Lord our God for the son that I did so desire, to secure the succession, for the comfort of this mine realm. As it is the duty of a king to secure the succession, so it is the duty of a queen, a woman, to provide for her husband the king, a good, healthy boy. I did believe that God had forsaken me, that God would not permit me to have a healthy living boy 6 times. Aye, 6 times my wife Aragon did bear me a child, as you are aware. All were dead, all save one, the Princess Mary, a girl. A girl. England cannot have a queen. For England to have a queen, England would be weak. For girls are weak and of no consequence. And then I did give all for that poisoning witch and whore Boleyn, to marry of Boleyn no king, e'er did so much for the woman he loved. All that did follow, the schism with Rome, the death, the abbeys, the monasteries, were all the faults of my stubborn wife Aragon. They were the milestones I encountered in my desire to have of a son with my second wife, that poisoning witch, Boleyn. 3 times. 3 times Boleyn did bear for me a child. All were dead, save that one, aye, the girl Elizabeth. I need not dilate upon that which did befall the goggle-eyed whore Boleyn. Safe to say, in 1536 I was free to marry again, and thus I did take to be my wife the most pure, the most honest, the most perfect, Jane Seymour. Indeed, the most honest, the most pure, the most perfect jewel I did e'er possess. Aye, it did please Jane Seymour to become my wife. And then I did pray. I prayed and I prayed to that Lord above for the son I yet still did desire. And then my wife, Jane, Queen Jane, being quick with child, 'twas in the autumn of 1537, she did take unto her chamber, she did go into confinement at Hampton Courts. And 'twas there I did wait, and I did wait, and I did wait for the most joyous of news, for it was I, after a 30-hour groaning, that my wife Jane was delivered of the most perfect baby boy, born upon the feast of St. Edward. We did name him Edward, and we did rejoice. For at last God had smiled upon England. At last there was a child, a boy, a lawfully begotten son, born of the king's body. At last my people did have cause to rejoice, and they did rejoice. For 2,000 cannon were fired at the town of London, and beacons and bonfires were lit the very length and breadth of the realm. But, my loyal subjects, this October of 1537 did prove in the space of just 12 days to be the best of times and to be the worst of times. My wife Jane, we were delighted. At last a son, a prince and heir, to be the next king of England. He was indeed christened at Hampton Courts upon the 15th of October. But by then, just some 2 to 3 days since the birth of my son, the Prince Edward, my wife Jane, my beloved Jane, she did become ill. And within 10 days, a further 10 days, she too was gathered unto God, for it did please the Lord our God to gather unto him my wife, the Queen. All my life, I have walked in the shadow of death. By some it is said that I am indeed the very product of death. Death has taken so many. Death. I had oft implored the Lord our God for him to take unto himself my most precious jewel in exchange for a son. And in this October of 1537, the Lord our God did take me at my very word, for he did take my beloved Jane. Divine Providence. Divine Providence had sought to mingle the joy at the birth of my son with the agony, the pain, the death of my wife. And thus, my loyal subjects, although a great deal has happened since October 1537, Jane was my third wife. I am indeed now married unto my sixth wife, the kindly Queen Catherine Parr. Whene'er October does come into view, I do recall those days of 1537 as the very best of times, and indeed the worst of times. I delighted in the birth of my son. It did sink into the deepest, darkest despair at the death of my wife. And thus, my loyal subjects, I do entreat you all in this month of October to remember in your prayers my dearly departed wife, Queen Jane Seymour. And to you, I do bid you as ever to live in peace, unity and concord, one with another. May the Lord our God bless and keep the Commons of England. Thank you for watching my video. If you have not already subscribed, then please subscribe below and click the bell if you wish to be advised of new videos. And please don't forget to like this video and to leave a comment below.